Venus Cazimi, and there's the new moon in Leo that is going to be happening on August 16th. We're going to be talking all about it. Let's break down the information. Let's break down the vibes that are about to occur. Welcome into everybody seeing this. If you're watching this later on, thank you for being here as well. This is a new moon that's going to be so shaped around creativity and the creative force that you're able to bring into the world. And this creative force doesn't necessarily have to just be for a specific art thing or anything like that. You can be in a complete business and corporate thing, but like, what's your art? You know, some people's art is business. Some people's art is accounting, right? But the new moon in Leo is trying to remind people that that's the case. Hello, welcome in everybody. I'm just really excited for this change in vibe. And right now we are having Venus Cazimi, right? And the simplest way to put that is that Venus retrograde and the sun have finally met. When that happens, we've had like the last few days, I know a lot of people have been feeling a little bit discouraged. They might have been feeling like a little bit of like a heavy weight to them. Or like someone said, I painted today, crocheted a top last night, and literally started, cycle, right? So like there's a lot of change that's happening as far as the heat, the fire, the flame, the different, you get what I'm saying? There's a whole different kind of energy that comes through with that. I've been an artist my whole life, in college right now, but haven't made anything during Venus retrograde. That's an interesting point. Venus retrograde is trying to re-show you and reframe the way that you go about your creativity. So when you're thinking, I have to launch off this project now, Venus retrograde is like, no, just remember that you like this thing. Explore more about it. You get what I'm saying? It's not about like you having to immediately do the thing, right? For example, I'll use myself, right? I did a poll before where I was like, do y'all want me to go live? Do y'all want me to do the video? And most of y'all said all the above, which I appreciate. But I want to be able to do a full explanation video. I don't have the camera that's going to be able to do that right now, which is completely fine. But I was trying to do it, recorded it, phone overheated, and I was like, well, that's not it right now. But being able to see towards the future, oh shoot, this is something that I want to do. Oh shoot, I used to do photography and stuff like that. So like, this is something that I used to do that is now resurfacing in its own way. This is something I used to really enjoy that's now coming back through. You know, we get into the astrology mastery, so I got to do a couple other things with my day or else I'll just be fully in the stars. And that's fun to a point. I launched a podcast last week during retrograde, and I bet you've been thinking about doing that podcast forever, right? Now, this is the thing with the retrograde motion. Sometimes people have to sit down and reassess, and sometimes people's reassessment period is finally getting that thing done, finally starting that thing, getting that thing actually going and moving and doing the first steps, making the posts for it, making whatever they have to do in order to get that done, right? Now, getting back to the new moon at hand that's going to be coming up, right? New moon in Leo, fire, right? That's the kind of thing. There's a lot of change surrounding where you choose to show up. How are you showing up? Because Leo energy tries to remind us that we are royalty in our own regard. We are our own, if you live life and you realize that you're the main character of your own life. I know there's a joke where people are like, I'm the side character, I'm this. It's like, well, the side character also has a story. If you ever watch like an anime or a spin-off series, they still have their own story. They still have their own thing. And to diminish your way of doing that is very anti-North Node and Aries of you. And I suggest that you make a little bit different of a twist, right? Because everyone has their own unique experience. It's the concept of Sonder, right? Ironically, one of my favorite band's names. But the idea of that though is that there's a change in the air that's trying to allow people to become more of what they are, to allow themselves to open up the heart space, to be more of who they are, to embrace more of who they are, to love more of who they are. Because a lot of people get so concerned about relationships in terms of like, I want a relationship. It's like, okay, do you know what you need in love? They're like, well, I just want somebody. It's like, all right, now you have somebody. And that's usually when people are like, no, not them. Get them away from me. That's when the people are on the apps, they're swiping left on people, and they're just like, nope, they're not my type. Nope, they're not this. And my joke that I have with people is, I'm like, man, you probably swipe left on your soulmate, or one of them, to be fair. You probably swipe left on your soulmate, thinking that your type is supposed to be like the one exact thing. For people that ends up aligning with, you want to know what happens usually? People end up becoming themselves, and then they give up. I'm not gonna lie. Most very, very like interesting relationships that I see is that they build themselves up so much, and then by the time it's that they're realizing, yo, no one around me is resonating with me anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one in my space, or none of the people that maybe I used to talk to are really resonating with me. You want to know what? I'm gonna do my own thing, right? And you want to know what that is? The biggest key to the self-love. I'm just gonna do my own thing. And then when you start doing your own thing, you start taking the vibe, you start having that happen. Next thing you know, that person pops up. It could be casual, could be whatever, but that's usually the person. You're like, y'all start really clicking. Like, oh shoot. Y'all start really like having certain things in common. You have certain things that one person might be good at, the other person might be good at. And that's usually when that type of relation comes in. Is when you accept the radical self-love of the stars above, pretty much, right? And that's why I love astrology, is because, like, for me, I just got out of a reading literally not too long ago, but we were just able to like really go ahead and get into a lot of deep information really good. But like, that's something that's so interesting. Serpentine said the love list has been coming up in convos lately. Do you think it's a good practice to only manifest based on your needs? I get it, but it feels incomplete. I have a lot of feelings about manifestation and the language around manifestation. I have a lot of feelings about it. One of the things that I don't like about manifestation in general is that manifestation, the way that it is taught to us in the modern times, is patriarchal. The way that manifestation is taught to us also built off privilege. It's not built off of actually like manifesting and creating something and coexisting in a space with you and the universe, right? I'm saying that I'm feeling my heart tingle, right? Because that's the truth. That's what's going on, right? Like, this is the feeling right now. But the idea though is like, when it doesn't resonate, it's not gonna rock. You know what I mean? And other people are going to resonate with different things, right? I don't like human design like that, but other people are going to resonate with it. Does that mean that they're wrong? No. But astrology's better. But then again, when you start to stick up for your own heart, when you start to stick up for the things that you believe, when you stick up for that other thing, that's having that lion heart, that heart of the lion. That's where that, like, oh, the love list, right? People will sit there and be like, oh, these are the list of things that I need in a person. You get what I'm saying? This is the list of things I need in a person. They need to be 6 foot tall. They need to be this. They need to have this. They need to have blah, 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 all that other stuff, right? Meanwhile, the person that you're really looking for, who's going to treat your heart, might not look like that at all. Or they might look a different way, still look good, but it might not be that exact thing. So many times where we're talking about manifestation, the way that a lot of the language is, it's all driven off ego. And that's why those things don't work. Or at least not long term. They don't work long term. Right? I've worked in the space of corporate spirituality before. Like, it doesn't work. The most that the things and like those little love candles and stuff, they usually only last for like 2 weeks and then they dwindle out. Now you're running back to grab another one. Right? Being like, well, wait, they did text me back. I gotta go do this. Right? Manifestation at its core, this is a Leo lesson, but manifestation at its core is I am radiating at this space, and the things that I love are going to come to me, right? I am bridging in this amount of love and putting this into the world, and because of that, the things that I desire are going to end up coming through. But when you start to focus on the end result, and then you don't put any of the work in between, right? So some people might be like, I want to manifest a partner. And they sit down on their phone all day and they don't talk to nobody. They're like, oh man, I want to be outside. I want to be the hottest person in the grocery store. And then they're like, okay, But then they just walk in and they just expect that to just happen. And then they see somebody else wearing something that they wanted to, and they're like, well, why are they wearing that out there? It's like, don't be mad that Spirit said, hey, bring that creativity into the world. It told you about it. You chose not to do it, and now somebody else is doing it, right? The whole, I hope y'all taking notes. Facts. Shout out to you. Shout out to Lauren. But like the concept for real though is like when you start, so like let's say, oh, all right, I want to be the best looking person in the store, just for yourself, right? Just for your own whatever fun, even, right? Just for the creative fun of it. Now you start to like put in work into yourself, right? But with manifestation, there's no manifestation without action. There's no manifestation without taking the first steps. There's no manifestation without the preamble. And if that thing doesn't exist in your heart, it's not finna happen. You can think yourself into whatever else. People are like, I want to manifest money, then the money don't come. Why? Because your heart's not there. What is your heart actually in though? Because whatever your heart actually is in might bring you the money instead. So when people are thinking this A-B thing, like spiritual capitalism, if you want, yeah, of course, manifest what you want. You're not going to get it the way you intend unless that's in your heart, unless you sit there and you deal with that. But what is this Venus retrograde about? What's this Venus Cazimi about today? What do you love? What do you enjoy? Are you afraid to announce it? Are you afraid to talk about it? Are you going to be weird with people when they start asking you about the things that you like? Are you going to shy away from you being good at something because you don't know how other people are going to take it? You know what I'm saying? It's almost like sometimes, this is Love Bambita. Love Benita. The only reason why I don't pronounce y'all names because I know I'm going to say it wrong. But it's almost like sometimes we become too attached to the end result when we just need to be. And that right there, my friends, is why that works in that capacity. You get what I'm saying? Baby, cuz I'll talk to you later, bro. Just hit me over. You ain't getting on my live. Get out of here. Anyway, much love to you though. But the idea though, right, is when it gets to the other part where it's like we just need to be. And when you activate that space of your heart is when those things come in. You get what I'm saying? That's when that ends up popping in. I'm gonna take a little cuz for example. He was like, I love basketball, and then he got tall. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I love basketball. I'm trying to ball. Now he all tall. Now he all grown, playing ball and all that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like when you pick what you. But I remember, little short homie, like, what you gonna do? Nah, I love you too, bro. But like the whole idea though, right, is that like you end up falling for what you like love and you do your thing, and then all of that starts to happen. You get what I mean? What is the impact of cycles closing out? Dealing with the divorce, custody, so many heavy emotions and frustrations from this, right? How things ended up in post-separation. Okay, I got you. One of the things, at least, right? When people get, part of the reason of I think upset happens is because we're anticipating the other person's feelings instead of addressing our own. So we're like, oh man, if I say that person's gonna get mad. And it's like you're now losing out on yourself. You're now losing out on parts of like where you're coming from. And I don't know your full situation. If that's something else deeper, we can fix on that. But the idea of this though is that when you get so caught up in the concept of what that other person is going to feel, you miss out on about how you feel. And things ain't right if you don't feel right. You get what I'm saying? I'm sorry that you are also going through this because I know that that's a heavy time. I'm just trying to relate that to you as easy as I can without, taking up too much. But would you say Venus retrograde in Leo affects Leos the most? I'll give that to y'all. Yes, it does. Because Leo knows intrinsically that love will guide the way, right? But it's making sure that the love that you feel it's not like a selfish kind of thing. I think that's what people get messed up when it comes to Leos. Because they're like, oh, Leo, they're so into themselves. It's like, yeah, because when Leos are into themselves, you feel the invitation to like you. You feel the invitation. You're like, wow, I inspired that. They're like, you inspire me. It's like, wow, are we having a moment? And now you're feeling that heart energy. Now you're chasing what you're going for. Hey, it was good. But you know what I'm saying? Yes, I stopped saying anything or releasing anything because it's not worth it. And that right there, That right there, knowing that it's not worth it, is you doing what? Reminding yourself of that self-love. Because you keep pushing out something where you know it's not worth it, is making you lose that energy that you can spend making sure that the other things are right. Are the kids going to be okay? They are, because you got them. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the kind of things that happen. Like I said, I don't know the full situation, but I'm trying to use this in a way that like also helps everybody else who's in this as well. So hopefully that helps. Divorce is a gauntlet, been through it. And I think Venus retrograde, there's a lot of people that have like split, or they're redefining parts of their relationship, or they're also like addressing where they're coming from with their feelings, right? This could go from, y'all having those real conversations and getting down to things. That could be you rediscovering things that you're passionate about. Rediscovering, oh shoot, I really did used to like X, Y, and Z. Now, how can I implement that into my life, right? I know a lot of times I do a lot of readings for people who are mothers, right? And because obviously they have to raise their kid, they may not do that. And I'm like, what's stopping you from going outside with them stilettos and the little thing, like doing your thing? What's stopping you from doing that? And it's like, you got a babysitter. You got someone that's going to watch them. You got someone that's going to feed them. They're going to make sure the dog good. So what's stopping you in that capacity from actually enjoying and exploring the life that's around you? Because at that point, it's just you. The kid isn't stopping you being like, you can't go outside. You have to take care of me. Kids be like, I get some time to myself. Okay, cool. Yeah, whatever it is, babysitter. But like, that's really cool, right? That's the difference between it. You know what I mean? I want to make sure I'm reading this stuff because I've been talking. That's what I've been doing, taking my power back. Let's make sure we all give some snaps over to Cazimi and NO11. I don't want to say these names wrong, and I know that I will. So I'm just cruising on that. What if Leo is in your 5th house? How does that apply? I have a free Venus retrograde ebook that is in my description. Speaking of, and if you want to get a consultation or a reading with me, please do, because that would be a really good thing. And it will also help me fund my new moon in Leo aspirations to bring more creative stuff to you all. So look at that. Win-win, right? I do have some new announcements for the people on my mailing list and everything else like that I'm going to be starting on a new moon in Leo. So please make sure that you check your emails. I'm going to be making a transition, I believe, over to another easier way to get information to y'all. And I'm really excited to hop into that, but I want to go through the logistics this weekend to make sure that it's all right. And then I will announce that fully. So make sure you stay tuned. And for people who want a follow-up reading or consultation, feel free to hit me up. I'm going to be doing and offering some discounted services for you all, the people who have been grassroots and have been helping me become and develop into a better astrologer. I see you all. I try my best to make sure that I get to y'all whenever I can. I do be busy, but I really am grateful for you all and all of you who are in here too. So if y'all want to get a reading with an astrologer that knows what they're talking about, who said that? No, but just make sure that you pull through for it. All right, let me look through again. We on fire today. The scales are tipping. So facts. When in doubt, Lauren said, when in doubt, always speak. Live your truth. One or two things will happen. You'll get what you want and need, or you'll make the space for what you want and need to come in. Lauren, go ahead. I know we did a reading like last month, maybe like a month and a half ago. And I know that you was on it before, but that was what I was talking about. So I'm very, very proud because that was literally like, I love this. This is my favorite thing. All right, thank you. Much love. Let me see the Venus and retrograde ebook. My finances won't allow me to get a reading right now. The ebooks are free. That's why I have the free ebooks out, because I know not everybody can afford per se what's going on. I do have another reading where it's like 111 for like 30 minutes. I just had one like a minute ago. It's a destiny reading. It's also good for like a follow-up if you want that. And we get straight to what's going on. I don't waste no time. I don't waste nobody energy. Like, we getting straight to it. We asking what's going on. We getting to the core. I don't play with these readings. This is what I do. This is me. Say less. What's good, Steven? Thank you, Lady Jaga. I don't want to pronounce anything wrong. I know I'm going to do it. I may need another reading because I'm hard-headed. You may need to get another reading because I'm hard-headed too. We going to make sure that you get a reading. Let me start. But honestly, like, Even if you got to read them before, I'm a lot better than I was. It's cool when people from like 4 years ago, 5 years ago are like, the reading that you gave me changed my life. I was like, oh, for real? That's cool. But now I'm like, okay, I know what I'm talking about. So like, pull up. Howdy, let's go. Let's go. Let me stop. But to get back to the new moon, I wrote something down before. Got you. So the new moon in Leo, right? Why is this important too? It's conjunct Lilith, right? Shout out to whoever made a purchase a second ago. Much love to you. Anyway, I'll see that after. But the Lilith, right? Y'all got like the Thundercat. If you're talking about Thundercat, that's what's the Thundercat's. I've met Thundercat a couple times. It's the homie. You good people. Like twice. It wasn't that serious. But I sold him. So he's into crystals. Fun facts. Anyway, the other point. The idea though is Lilith conjunct the new moon, right? Lilith is making sure that we end up opening to the divine feminine, the dark aspect of the divine feminine that gets normally shunned by the patriarchy. You don't believe that is there? Have you ever watched a straight male quote unquote alpha podcast? Have you ever watched one? You should watch one. You should watch one. You should just look at it. And then you're going to be like, wow, how are all these people, these intelligent people in here, being stopped on how they're saying just because someone else shut them down? There was someone who did this podcast and he was trying to say astrology was fake. I got mad last stream I did. It still pisses me off. But he was trying to say astrology was fake, right? And he's like, well, when you put together biology and free will, then astrology doesn't exist. And it's like, bro, what are you even saying? The weather don't exist now? So because biology and free will and now the weather don't exist. Because of this, now your podcast don't exist. We won't get into this. You know what I'm saying? And the new moon in Leo is like, because Lilith is there too, it's trying to have you like stick up for those things when you know it's not right, right? What I love about fire sign energy in general is that like most of the time like we'll defend like where we're coming from, right? But we kind of like whatever, like oh screw you, F you, whatever, right? But when it comes to the people that we love, it's like oh no, right? It's like a very like specific kind of thing. You know what I mean? He doesn't even know. Bless him. Facts. And that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm not mad at him forever, but like it's also knowing in a sense, right? That person is never going to resonate with me on a heart level, like at all. You know what I mean? And that's okay. Like that's fine. You know, because where he has his success, and he is quote unquote in that Leo essence, like a king of whatever he's doing where he's at, right? Whereas when people start to realize, hey, when you accept that inner royalty, when you learn your stars, when you realize, hey, this is my position, hey, this is the role that I play, oh wait, I'm on the right path, matter of fact, this is how we do it a little better, you start to realize it's like, yo, everybody is living a different experience, right? And the highest, oh, this is the best I can do for something is going to be different depending on everything else. So another thing I hate about manifestation and the way that they talk about it and the way they talk about a lot of spirituality is that it's not focused on anything other than the cultures of the patriarchy and the aftermath of it. And when we get into the other cultures and we get into other like nuances, everything else, like genders, identities, etc., we're now seeing a way different, vast experience, right? And for people to live in their experience and to live comfortably in their experience, they have to like show themselves up. And the thing with Leo energy too is that you have to be okay to get like a little bit criticized. You have to be okay with the fact not everyone liked the performance. Not everyone liked this, right? Not everyone likes when I go live. Some people are only following me because they want to see the memes. I don't blame them. I'm funny as everything. Like, what's up? Say less, right? You want to see the memes? Here are the memes, right? Oh, y'all want some actual reliable resource and not have to like break an arm and a leg in order to get that? Cool. Here's some free resources for y'all. Even my birth chart readings are reasonably priced because I can easily charge $400 for a reading. Easily. With my backing and with the stuff that I know, easily charge $400 for a reading. But I also coming from the ilk of where everything else is coming from, culturally, background, etc. Like being able to be accessible enough without doing that. Because at a certain point, I will have to be on that time. So in the in between, I want to make sure to like serve the people and make sure that everything else is good, because it comes from the heart. It comes from like a real level of care. And at a certain point, will I be charging like $1,000 for a reading? Yeah, for sure. Because that's how much I'm worth. But at the same time, I'm worth more than that, respectfully. But at the same time, this is where it's like owning up to that worth. Owning up to the fact that being willing to be honest about that too. Because like I know I'm worth more than that. But at the same time, I know that Susie, Sally, whoever the case is, may not be able to. Why? Because half the world not working right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Because despite whatever's going on in the world, there's still a lot of things that like are underneath this. You get what I'm saying? They're surprising the current vibes. Yeah, it's going to change. That's why I be telling people, like, get a reading now. Get a reading today. Get a reading today, so that I'm like, thank y'all for showing up. And in a couple years where you're like, yo, what's up? I'll be like, pull up for another one. Like, this is literally based off love, right? The ebooks, the reason why they're out, because it's love. Why? Because I love this thing called astrology before anyone thought it was cool. I loved this before anyone even believed that this was a thing. And that's where it's like, because of that, that's the reason why y'all like my work, though. That's the reason why y'all like my work, though. Is because in the same concept, when I speak on what I'm passionate about, you remember what you're passionate about. Because you might not be passionate about astrology. Sound like me. Don't disrespect me like that. She was tripping. Anyway, that's all love. I feel like a lot of us are collectively hitting our orbit. I agree, because the North Node is in Aries, which is also working with this new moon, which is also technically sort of kind of working with this Venus Cazimi as well, right? And back to the Venus Cazimi, that's today. You know what I mean? Like, that is today. Venus retrograde meets up with that. So are you afraid? No, I understand. I'm playing too. I'm a Sag. I don't take that personal. But for real, like the idea though, where it's like you finding in like the downloads that you receive over the next couple of days are going to show you what to actually work your manifestation towards, right? So I already have an idea of some of the stuff that's coming in, but I'm sure that there's going to be more. I already kind of see it where I'm like, oh, I want to do this. Like I see that little extra thing I could do. You know what I mean? But at the same time, those things take time. New Moon Leo, I'm gonna be like, yes, I need this all through. But what do? I'll take a couple of days. I'm gonna take a little minute. You know what I mean? And this is to keep it early for you all, to prepare you all a few days before, so you're not there on the day being like, what's going on, and looking at someone else and they're like, well, if you're a Taurus, a Leo, an Aquarius, or a Scorpio, then like the new moon is gonna be impacting you, and like everything's bad. And it's like, shut up. I can't stand some of these people that be up there. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not even gonna cap. They be on some bull. I have opened up myself to just being like, well, maybe there's this. I've watched some things. It's like, yo, there are some people where it's like they're really not for your growth, just to be honest with you. Anyway, okay, I have Venus and Libra, so should I like not use the energy during this cycle? So there's the misconception about retrogrades is that you're not supposed to do something. Life goes on. You have to still do stuff. Like, you still have to do things. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, when it's Venus retrograde, people are like, oh, don't date anybody. Don't do this. And it's like, you could have went on a date during Venus retrograde that reminded you of like the first love you ever had, and then you carried that same love on for you forever with that person. But no, the astrology, the spiritual guys and girlies were like, don't talk to anyone during Venus retrograde. Now, if you're in something during Venus retrograde, you have to address why y'all are together. And if you're in a committed thing and it's not for love, and it's not for like that, that's when things start to fall through. You get what I'm saying? Say it louder. Louder. I don't know what I was saying, but I was saying it though. I claim that kind of love. And that is what Venus retrograde is about. I claim that kind of love. And if it's based off of self-love, then the people that you actually want come to you. Just how it goes. Can you give a perspective for natal Venus retrograde in Scorpio? I have an old video on Venus retrograde in Scorpio on my YouTube. It's when I didn't have hair, and it was like 4 years ago. But I definitely recommend that you check that out. I think it's one of my best videos on my YouTube, as far as like reach and everything. I recommend that. But if you have Venus retrograde in your chart, this is time for you to like really wait, hold on. I don't know if I should be following or doing the opposite of what retrograde requires. If you have Venus retrograde in your chart, none of this applies to you. We're existing in your energy right now. So when everyone else is like, don't date, go on 4 or 5 dates, find the one, have fun. Like, you know what I'm saying? When they're like, oh, don't spend that. Like, go ahead and buy the thing. Treat yourself. Like, when you have retrograde planets in this retrograde time for you, y'all are balling. Like, when it's about to be Mercury retrograde. If you have Mercury retrograde in your chart, during Mercury retrograde, you are supposed to be just like, while everyone else is freaking out, oh, I don't know what to do. Oh, I have to reassess. You're like, I overthought this 10 times over now. Let me show you what I'm worth. Let me show you what I got. You get what I'm saying? I was born with Venus retrograde in the first, so I guess I'm good. Yes, you are in your element. Yes, 100%. I wonder why I always feel amazing during Mercury and Venus retrograde. Because this is the problem that I have with pop astrology. And I will do my thing to continue to make it accessible, make it look cool, etc. Because my problem with it is that they're using old material, and they didn't care enough to fully understand the material. They just read the thing and now they're regurgitating. Like, that's my issue. You get what I'm saying? And I'll point them out too. Let me stop. But I'm gonna show up then and go check out the YouTube video. Where my nodes are retrograde. Everyone's nodes are retrograde. By the way, that's not like everyone has basically a retrograde in their nodes. It's like a very like weird random thing when they don't. But everyone has their north node in retrograde because the north node moves backwards. So right now the north node went into Aries, but the north node went into Aries at 29 degrees. Versus when things usually go in at 0 degrees. So that's something to keep in mind. But I do explain these kind of things in my other work, in my resources, etc. So make sure that you check those out. 'Cause I have a North Node ebook as well. But for any of y'all who are looking for a reading, who do want some guidance, everything else like that, I do have some time and space available for the upcoming couple weeks. So if you want to get a reading, please make sure that you sign up for the month of August. I know a few of y'all have hit me up in the DMs. You're waiting for the check to drop. You're waiting for the next thing. Completely get you. But I'm here. And it's really just like so fulfilling for me to like see the light bulbs go off for people and to like, you know, genuinely help integrate some really difficult things that aren't easy to like put to words. And I've been in many thousands of charts, so I have a way to kind of explain that in the right way. You get what I'm saying? I noticed the backwards movement when looking. Yeah. So yeah, all the backward North Node goes backwards, right? Because a lot of the destiny of people isn't in finding a new thing; it's in remembering. That's a gem though. That's a gem. You can put that wherever you need to. Venus Cazimi. Can we know? Wait, 1 second. Venus Cazimi. Can we know what to know or what feelings to hold? Why are you asking me how you feel? You follow me here, right? Why are you asking me how you feel? Because how you feel is how you feel. I don't know how you feel. I could, if we pull up a chart and we do it on a reading, I'll know how you feel. We can talk about it. But like when I'm seeing this, like I don't know how you feel, right? And I think when we start to ask, what are we supposed to feel? No, I don't know. I got you. I see where you're coming from. But when it's like, hey, like how am I supposed to feel? It's like, well, have you listened to yourself? Have you asked your body? Have you tapped into your body? Have you eaten anything today? Have you drinking any water? Have you gotten the things that you needed in order to regulate yourself for you to even start to begin that other process? A lot of people think self-love is like having to like do an ice dip in an ice plunge or like go into the desert with ayahuasca. A lot of people think there's like a whole bunch of stuff like that. And self-love is as simple as like you making sure that you just do what you feel proper. You get what I'm saying? Like when you really embrace what you feel, that's where magic happens. That's where manifestation happens. When you are love, love becomes everything. When you are love, love becomes that. That's when money flows in. That's when things do all of this thing. And like, I didn't get that for a long time, right? I'm very scientific naturally. Like there's a lot of like, you know, even me believing in astrology, I had to prove it to myself time and time and time and time and time and time again. You get what I'm saying? Let me go sip some water. Because hot girls don't drink water. We know this. Y'all love the Cheetos, though. Y'all be like, where's the water? All y'all. Love y'all. Y'all be doing that. Y'all be like, I forgot to eat and drink water. It'd be funny to watch. Love it. Anyway, but the idea, though, right? I just be hollering and screaming facts and fire your whole life. It's lit. Juice has water. No, it don't. Drink the water. Stop that. We ain't gonna do that today. Stop it. Drink the water itself. Put a little lemon in it, whatever you gotta do. We're not gonna play with the juice has water in it. We're not gonna do that. I understand where it come from. I'm from there. I get you, but no, we're not doing that no more. Anyway, I wish I was a hot girl. I'm a hot girl. I'm a dude, right? It's a mindset, and Venus retrograde reminds you like it's literally a mindset. You get what I'm saying? Yes, self-care is more about your body as well. When to rush, when to slow down, eat more or less. Thank you, Clarabelle. But yeah, that's pretty much the vibe there. You know what I mean? And the idea is like the whole. For example, that's why I love Meg Thee Stallion just in general, right? But I love Meg Thee Stallion specifically because she made the like hot girl, the hot thing, the feeling like that inclusive. She was like anybody could do that. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody could be in that vibe. Anybody can be in that energy. You want to know what that energy's about? Venus retrograde in Leo. If I'm not mistaken, she has a Leo moon. If I'm not mistaken, she has a Leo moon. Yeah. So that's the whole concept, though. It's like, can you feel that in yourself? Because it exists in everybody. It's a mindset. It's less of a mindset and it's more of an acceptance. It's like, you want to know what? Here I am in this existence. In this, like, although all the spirit, soul, etc., spiritual, miracle, whatever that we have in this world, I'm genuinely just here. So what do I do to help treat myself? What do I do to help navigate those feelings? That's a lot of what this vibe is about. So Venus Cazimi is today. And everything that I've talked about today is going to ride through for the new moon in Leo. And so the new moon in Leo, when you tap into your passions, when you get a reading with your favorite astrologer, let me stop. But when you tap into all that and like you get that going and that starts to happen, that's when you start to find those moments, those aha moments, those I feel that moments, those moments where you do something so unique to you that people are like, yo, I didn't understand what happened, but I love what you did. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, and it takes a certain amount of like, yo, I don't care what you think, right? That's what the full moon in the Aquarius was about. It's like, I don't care what you think. My people are going to be my people, right? People that don't like me don't gotta like me. The people that love me, I appreciate and love y'all back, like for real, like genuinely speaking. And there's also a need though, in the Leo part, for the boundary though. Right? And that's where the other part comes in, where it's like you can't allow people to stomp on your heart and just be off with it. Right? It's either establishing the boundary or you knowing when to like go a different route. You knowing when to walk away. You knowing when it's like, yo, someone said earlier, I know it's not going to go anywhere, so why waste my time? Why waste your time? Because all that same passion, that same yelling, that same, no one's getting this, no one's you could put into something that you care about, right? The same amount of time frame that it takes for somebody hating in a comment to write down like, yo, I hate the way that you look with this, and I hate the way that blah, 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 and astrology's fake. And it's like, okay, you love sports, go talk about sports. Go be with your friends. Go be with the people that enjoy the same thing that you enjoy. Because if you put that same energy that you just put in to be like, oh, I hate this. This is so dumb. Into what you like, maybe you'll start getting that validation that you're trying to seek. And then you won't be in other places trying to make a point somewhere that doesn't even matter to you, right? shout out to everybody who has joined me in the last ever, honestly. But shout out to the people that have come through in this last Instagram boom. To be transparent with y'all, I've more than doubled my follow count in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's been really interesting. But part of that became because I said, screw everybody, I'm just gonna do this. I don't care. Yeah, I posted 5 times today. So what? Right? It's funny, but at the same time, it's like, if I was still worried about how is this going to look for everybody? How is everyone going to perceive the fact that I'm doing it? I hope I'm not annoying. If I started doing that, I lost followers too. I lost about almost 1,000 people, and I'm like, you want to know what? We are weeding out the people who are about change, transformation, the ha he he's, the things that I care about, and we're bringing in the people that resonate with that. And that to me makes so much more sense than trying to appease people that don't like what I do, or like what I like, or like the people I like. Screw that. You know what I'm saying? My fault. Fire sign, back to you too. Wise beyond. I'm just reflecting y'all. Don't start this with me. New to your page. I enjoy your content a lot and your delivery. Thank you. It has taken 5 years. We're doing our best. Appreciate it though. I followed you a week or so ago. I'm glad that I found your page. Loving it so far. Thank you. Genuinely, but thank you. You know what I mean? No one wanted to also say thank you. It just be wow. My heart is warmed up. Yes, I still have a lot to do. Yes, I'm still that. But it's oh, wow. I appreciate the kind words. You know what I mean? And it's if that's helping you all understand astrology. Because I know there's people that follow me that don't understand astrology like that. And I know there's people that are nerds like me. But it's being able to do both. It's being able to earlier on today, I just did a reading. They're I don't know astrology like that. So I just broke it down from the simple pieces and brought it into real life, because that's what astrology is. When people start talking about astrology and it's oh, it's just a planet and the stars. It's no, astrology is an earth science. An earth science. It's about being here. You know what I'm saying? Astrology on the planet Venus is going to look super different than how it looks here. What does Earth represent in the little planet's charts? Who knows? But woo shile, de ghetto. Let me stop. You're also motivating me because I avoid starting things. How about you starting? Get a reading. Hey, no play. But anybody who does want a reading though, for real. I do have a handful of time this week. I'm going to be working on some video editing stuff as well. And I have things I want to buy to make cooler stuff. So if y'all want to pull through and help the kid out, fill up. And I'm also going to be, like I said, making more announcements on a new moon in Leo. So if you order any ebook from me, you are on my mailing list, right? So I'm going to be sending something out to y'all. I want to make a couple things up. I technically have an Instagram subscription now too, but I want to be able to flesh that out before I start announcing it. But that's going to be more during the new moon in Leo period. So make sure that you're on the lookout for that in that process. And I'm also going to be hosting a couple specials because I need to do some readings for something else. But I will be explaining that on my email list for those who are signing up. And if you reach out to me afterward, even if you're just curious about what a reading looks like, if you want to know more about anything else like that, just feel free to reach out to me. If I don't get back to you immediately, it's not because I hate you. It's not because there's something weird. It's because I have to look through a lot of comments and I'll be really confused. And then my neurodivergence is just I don't know what I'm looking at anymore. And then I go do something else. So just don't take it personal ever. Trust me. And I do appreciate you all in general for showing up, popping up, and just I randomly went live. There's 20 of y'all still in here. I've probably been talking for an hour. Y'all dope. But then again, just imagine that hour time that I've been talking to the whole entire collective and everybody who sees this, and imagine that just being about you. Y'all be oh, he's dropping gems on that. I'm imagine if I have your chart. Let me stop. But for real, I do appreciate you all. I'm probably going to be heading out in a second. So does anyone have any last minute questions about Venus Cazimi or the new moon in Leo? Feel free to. I'm going to take a long, dramatic sip of my coffee that I'll probably spill on my shirt, but that's okay. Anybody else? Y'all got what y'all got? Y'all, I see y'all behind the. What you got something? You got something to ask? Anybody? But to kind of just wrap it up though, for real. This new moon in Leo is just trying to like genuinely remind you that every person that you've ever loved, you love them because of their courage. Every athlete, every artist, every person you've ever looked up to, you love them because of their courage. Now imagine if you found that same courage within yourself. And it's going to look different than theirs. But when you find your own, when you realize your own, that's when the people that you want start to come to you. It's one of the things that you're looking for. Start to find them, start to find you. And there's going to be bumps along the way. You get what I'm saying? I'm getting a reading this week. I'm going to hold you to it. I'm going to remember it. I'll be like, yo, remember when you said you was getting a reading? That's crazy. I'm playing. I'm a goofball still at the end of the day, so, you know. But, yeah. What's the next part? How does it affect the shift of the North Node to Aries? This is the last question, I guess, to break this down. But the North Node and Aries and the new moon are making a trine. And what that basically means is that they are making a triangle connection, and there's a lot more fire in the air. The way that this ends up really happening in real time is that this is like the go mode. This is like the, yo, maybe you don't have the materials yet. So study what the materials are supposed to be. Maybe you don't know, like, I want to make my video stuff really dope again. I used to do photography. I don't have a camera anymore because it broke. So I've been finessing for a long time. But the idea is where this ends up happening, though, is that it's like, I started just doing random stuff with my broken, like, camera. Like, I started just trying to do stuff with stuff like that. And I know what I want to end up getting, but it's just one of those situations where it's like you do those steps, you make those things. That's when you start to see the next steps. That's when you start to see the next bit. You get what I'm saying? I started doing videos. Dope. Appreciate the love. But like, that's what I'm saying. And I please send me them if you're doing it new. Like, I want to support. I want to help other creators if I can, where I can, right? But I digress. Aside from that, much love to you all. Happy new moon in Leo coming up on August 16th. Happy Venus Cazimi, which is happening right now. And I hope that you all find what you love. And if you need help finding that, ask your boy. And I can help you with that. Because that's what I do. Nah, but for real, appreciate y'all. And until next time, stay up, stay beautiful, stay blessed. All that stuff. That's not a tagline or anything. I just said that, but stay beautiful.